Good evening, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. We're glad to have everybody here tonight. And once again, you can communicate with me in the questions bar on the right-hand side. If the volume's too loud or too soft, please let me know. And the title of tonight's webinar is Discover How You Can Drop 2 inches off your waist by adding food in 1 week. And that's a lofty claim, and we're going to tackle it head on with a full head of steam. Okay, so let's get rolling here. Now, a lot of times folks say, well, who are you? You know, what have you done? What's so great about you? And so I'll tell people just a few little tidbits about me or my resume. I former collegiate football player and strength coach. And when I finished playing college football, I remember I lost 50 pounds of fat in I think like the first 16 weeks. And I've stayed really lean ever since then. And 14 years of in the trenches experience, not necessarily, and that doesn't include as an actual athlete or football player. That's post athletic competition. Had 24 articles published on, at the time, what was at the time the highest paying fitness website on earth, believe it or not. So I'm very proud of that. And over 150 successful case studies. And I had folks from 17 different countries around the world, so I'm definitely happy and definitely grateful for all that. So tonight, one of the best way for me to word this first slide here is the top. You have to tackle these, and people need to know this stuff. And the top 3 most pernicious weight loss lies. And the reason I put lies in here is because these 3 things that I'm about to identify are things that the quote-unquote gurus and experts and medical doctors, all people think those 3 types of people, gurus, experts, medical doctors, are experts in fitness and weight loss and fat loss. Well, that's not true. And those 3 people push, promote, and really pump up these 3 things. And let's talk about it. The number 1 most harmful, pernicious lie is the medical weight loss community. And the 2 biggest ones they do are the HCG and gastric bypass. So those are very, very harmful things, very pernicious. So we're going to talk more about that in a minute on all these, so just bear with me here. Next is candies and shakes. And we all know candies are bad. Well, I'm not talking about the candy you get at the drugstore or Christmas candy or Halloween candy. And these are just 3 of the companies. We're going to talk about more in a minute. But here's an example down below. What they want to do is they want to remove healthy, whole, nutritious food from your diet and replace it with little powders and stimulants and bars and candies and chocolates and whatever else. And some people believe that. It's a real shame. And then thirdly is the over-exercise movement. And trust me, you're going to get examples of that coming up in a minute. So let's start off with number 1, the medical weight loss, and why that's so pernicious. So the medical weight loss, and this is what I'm about to show you right now. This is no lie. What I'm about to show you is a quote I actually read off a medical weight loss Facebook page. And this is what the quote said. And it's such a shame because when you read this quote, you're going to be like, oh, that's me. So here's the quote. If you are eating healthy and exercising and can't lose weight, you may have a hormone imbalance. How many women and men, but probably more women, are going to read that, oh, that's me. That's got to be me. Well, you know what? Every single woman that signs up with me thinks they're eating healthy and exercising smart, but can't burn fat and lose weight. Okay? And to rub it in even deeper, I've never had anybody, I've never seen a single person, ever, I've never found anyone who was eating and training correctly, ever. That you're like, well, that's a lofty claim to make. Well, I'm making it. Now, there may be some out there, but I haven't seen them. I know when someone signs up with me, they send me what they eat and the way they exercise, and it's an absolute abortion. It's a catastrophe. So my point I'm making is that people read this and they think it's them. No, it's not you. you're just not eating. You're just really not eating and exercising correctly, the right way. So immediately they want people to believe they're doing it wrong, and they coerce them. They lure them in to pump them full of drugs. These medical weight loss places, they don't focus on the food. They don't focus on fixing the nutrition, the whole natural foods, the foundation, the core of the program. They get people in, want to write them a prescription, give them injection, give them pills, and pump them full of drugs. It'll suppress their appetite, wreck their natural hormone levels. It's an absolute disgrace. It should be outlawed. It's criminal. And people take the bait because they think that they really are eating healthy. They're following a diet they got on a blog, or on a website, or they read in TV Guide, or in a fitness magazine, and they think it's legitimate. And it's really a catastrophe. So number 2 is the enrollment in candies, shakes, and vitamin programs. And I listed some of these down here in a minute. So look at these. Bars, what are these, cookies down here, more bars and little candies up at the top. And what happens, a lot of these programs, they first thing they want to do, and I'm going to go ahead and list all of them down here, they remove the food as the foundation of the diet. Okay, they don't want you to eat much food at all. And they want to replace the food with shakes, bars, candies, cookies, and vitamins. Well, why would you ever want to do that? Well, they do it because that's how they make money. They're going to tell you, oh, just 2 meals a day, or maybe 3 meals a day, you know, maybe 2 healthy meals, and then the rest are shakes and cookies and candies. And these are really healthier than food. And then they'll remove the complex carbs. Get out your oatmeal. That makes you fat. Sweet potatoes make you fat. You know, that's what paleo is so horrible. They say sweet potatoes make you fat. They're bad for you. And replace them with we want you to get your energy from caffeine stimulant products. Okay? And here's a lot of the companies that do it. I'm not even going to say them out loud because they disgust me so much. But these all should be literally banned. These should be shut down. And don't let them fool you. I know this one down below, what they like to do is they like to tell you they're going to sell you vitamins that deliver nutrients you can't get in whole foods. And then what they do is they try to trickle feed in and upsell you on protein shakes. And before you know it, and they get you into like a yearly enrollment. So you're billed every 3 months. You don't just buy it and go home. A lot of these are pyramid schemes. Remember Avon back in the 80s? How people would sell cosmetics, and then it was, what came after that? There was something else, and then now it's this stuff. It's a lot of these 3 here. This is a real bad one too, and it's just these are the reasons why. You know, it doesn't take. I mean, even an imbecile knows that you can go anywhere. Even I don't care where you go, what fitness blog, what website. Even the biggest idiot out there will admit that nutrition is 80–90% of the game. It really is. You know, it's the most important. And yet those same people say, no, but food's not the foundation. Take tons of supplements, tons of vitamins, tons of little chocolate candies, and that's really better than whole natural food. And people believe it. Guys, these are multi-million-dollar enterprises. People believe this stuff. This is a pernicious lie. Give me a shout out. Give me a hand raise. I mean, are you guys getting how harmful this is? We're removing healthy food from the diet and plugging in bastardized garbage. And you have a lot of women. Rocco says, "What's up? Good deal." He knows what's going on. And it's sad. I see a lot of women, and I'm sure they're sweet ladies, but they're into fitness. And they might be personal trainers. I don't know. On Facebook, and they have like, I'm not going to say the name, but they'll have this one here. I'm going to circle it with my little pointer here. They'll have, a lot of them have this one right here. They'll have that one, and they have this one here. Just another big one that's popular now. These two. And they have those. I'll turn it off now. So they have those, and they want to get their friends to buy them, and the friends to stay on them, and so on and so forth. And it just, it's a bad thing. So now you know. Let's move on. So this is the over-exercise movement. Let's talk about this for a minute. And I got a photo down here which you all will love, and we've all seen these. They had them at the gym. Some Facebook pages that specialize in motivation, like women's motivation fitness, or there's a lot of them out. There's zillions of them on Facebook. And all they do is they post up photos like this all day. And here's just an example of one. And I left this on here intentionally down at the bottom. You can see the website, the harmful, pernicious website that would even make such a ridiculous thing. But I'll read it for you. Someone busier than you is at the gym right now for the second time today. So what this is saying very loud and very clear is that you need to be at the gym as much as possible. Once is not enough. One time a day is not enough. 6 days a week is not enough. 7 visits a week, 1 time a day are just not enough. Now it's twice a day. That's what you have to do to be successful. So they're telling you to get food out of your diet, plug in candies, shakes, all those little processed garbage, go to the gym twice a day, and then people can't lose fat. Then they go and they get HCG, and they get gastric bypass. Do you see this extraordinarily pernicious lifestyle that the industry's created? It doesn't help people. It harms you. What's supposed to help you is killing you. It's making you fat. It's destroying your progesterone levels, your estrogen levels, driving your test levels through the floor. More is better. More's got to be better. If 1 hour at the gym doesn't cut it, give me 2 hours. If that doesn't cut it, 3. Well, what's next? 5 hours a day? No. What that tells me, you need to fix your food. If 7 visits to the gym per week don't get it done, homeboy, homegirl, your diet sucks. And your diet probably isn't the only problem. Okay? I love this one. If it don't hurt, you're not doing it right. Well, I say the opposite's true. If it does hurt, you're doing it wrong. If it does hurt, you're not doing it right. So I think, and there's coaches that actually say this. There's trainers that believe this. Okay? So I believe the opposite's true. If it does hurt, you're not doing it right. Okay? You should never have sharp, stabbing pain at any point. Okay? At any point. That should never happen. It's all about total and absolute exhaustion and annihilation. I should have put a photo up. God, I wish I had. There's a certain exercise program. I'm not going to say it because I can't stand them. But the initials are CF. And if you lots of times I should have put a photo up. I'll put it up on my Facebook page. But you see people in the gym, after a set or after a session, laying on the floor exhausted. With their legs up in the air or legs flat on the floor sprawled out. And they're exhausted. And that certain exercise, CF, what they do is they focus on absolutely killing people. They kill you. They don't want you to have anything left in the tank. They want to annihilate you. And when you do that, you don't ever recover. You don't ever want to kill someone. You want to challenge someone with an aggressive effort and progressively, incrementally build each session so that 4 weeks later, you're a heck of a lot better. You can't be your best every session. Where do you go from there? If you kill yourself and you go to failure, what's next? Failure times 2? What do you do Wednesday? I mean, did you see my point? You can't train like that. You have to come in, make incremental progress each trip to the gym, which should be no more than really 3 days a week, for weights at least. You can go other days for metabolic or cardio stuff. And then after a month, switch it up. And what's the last one here? They believe pain and anguish and suffering and hard work equals success. Well, hard work doesn't really always equal success. I've seen a lot of people that work hard that are a mess. In fact, I'd say 60% of all the people that sign up with me, not all of them, but 60% are already in the gym. They're running every day. They're working too hard. And they can't make any success. So, and the reason for that is because they're not training smart. For those of you just logging in right now, welcome aboard. And you can communicate with me in the questions bar on the right-hand side. Just a quick heads up for you guys. So let's keep moving here. And you guys can ask any questions at any point during. Now, we're about to get into the nuts and bolts right now. This is the title of the webinar, as you remember, is about to be answered. And this is a dear lady, and she's actually a grandmother. She has she was on board, I think, back in 2011, if I'm not mistaken. So she's been over a year or so. Her name was Bonnie, and she's 55 years old. Now, this is what's amazing. She lost 13 inches from her waist. That's over a foot. And you can tell. I mean, this is proof. Okay? And I'll never forget what she said to me. And she, old school, grandma, mom, grandmom, grandkids, old school. You guys know what I'm talking about. And, less is better. Just eat less calories, twigs and berries. You can't ever be full. It has to hurt to lose weight. It has to hurt to burn fat. I'll never forget about 6 months into her training and her eating what she said. I'll never forget. And this is a quote she wrote on my Facebook wall. This is more than just changing the way you eat. It's changing the way you think. Your thought process has got to change. There are some folks that get on board and I give them, tons of healthy food and it's not happening. I can't do it. Oh, and what gets people more than the food is when I reduce their exercise down to, I put them on one of my published programs, which is only 3 very short full body exercise sessions per week. It's 45 minutes in the gym 3 days a week, and then 2 little metabolic sessions for like 10 minutes twice a week on the days you don't lift. So that's basically 5 days a week you exercise. Now, a lot of folks I get on board. Now, one person is an example, signed up back in early December. I'll never forget. They were exercising it was every day was like a 5 or 10 mile run, sprints, weightlifting 5 days a week. And the girl, she didn't even look like she exercised. She was like skinny fat, I think she was 35 years old, had like 26% body fat. Her photos, she didn't look obese, but she looked skinny fat, no muscle tone, but flabby. It was just gross. And I told her, you have got to get the exercise. Even if you eat healthy, if you continue to overtrain this badly, it can't. The eating still won't be able to sustain this level of expenditure. You've got to dial it down. And I'll never forget, this knucklehead writes me back and says, I can't stop running. I want to, but I want to run, but I want to keep doing it. Here's a study by some scientist that proves it's okay. I'm like, woman, and how has that worked for you so far? So my point is that learn from this. You've got to change the way you think. You got to get on board. And this is going to be tough. This is a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow. So go on ahead and put your thinking cap on and get ready, because I'm gonna lay it on right now. This is big. So how eating more food equals more fat loss. How eating more food equals more fat loss. So we're going to tackle this right now. Someone asked a question here. Let me get to it because I promised I would. Let's take a look-see here. Okay, we'll get to that question a little bit later, youngster. So let's tackle this. Let's take a look. Here's how. People undereat healthy food. Why? Now, I've discussed this before, and I'm going to again, so pay very close attention. All right. Healthy food is not always, but usually lower calorie than junk food. Egg whites, chicken breasts, salads, sweet potato, ground turkey breast, so on and so forth. It's lower calorie. Okay? That's not rocket science. We know that. Now, when you eat low-calorie food, because healthy food is typically low-calorie, I'm not saying count your calorie. I'm not saying that, but just bear with me as I make a point. Because healthy food is typically lower calorie, therefore, you have to eat a lot more of it to meet your energy demands. Think oatmeal. Now, we're going to talk about oatmeal in a second. But let me make this point. So what happens is, and I'm not picking on women because men do it too. I'm guilty of it. I was guilty of it like 8 or 10 years ago, so I can firsthand experience. But what happens is, if you cook a bunch of egg whites, 10 egg whites, that's a lot. That's a heck of a lot of food. It takes up a lot of space on your plate. If you cook a half a cup of oatmeal, and that's why I put oatmeal here. What does oatmeal do when you cook it? What does quinoa and or oatmeal do when you cook it? Who knows the answer to that question? What happens when you cook? I mean, surely somebody knows. Raise your hand. Somebody raise your hand. Who says this? Let's see. Yes, it expands. Michelle said that, and little Frey said that, and Regina said that, and Rocco said that. Good. Okay. It expands. Well, so let me tell you a little story, guys. And this is going to blow your mind. I had someone sign up back in, I think, 2010, and she actually had a really good figure. She had a dang good figure. Probably was like 18% body fat, had a really good figure. I think she was like 24 years old. And poor girl drank muscle milk 4 meals a day and had like, I don't know, chicken and salad the other meal. And I gave her like on her high carb day, I gave her a whole cup of oats for breakfast with some egg whites. And I kid you not, this is no lie. Because, as you know as well as I do, when you cook oats, it expands. Okay, so she cooks that cup of oats. What do you think happened when she took that cup of oats out of the microwave in that bowl? What do you think happened? I'll tell you what happened. She literally went into a panic. She emails me and goes, are you sure? Are you sure I should really eat this? It's just so much. Are you sure? Are you really sure? Guys, this is oatmeal. Not oatmeal cookies. This is oatmeal, not chocolatey eclairs. This is oatmeal, not a plate of spaghetti and meatballs. Are you kidding me? Why shouldn't you eat it? Of course you should eat it. It's on your program. Well, we know why. And we know why she was scared. Because, and I'm not picking on women, because men do it too, but probably more so with women, they think if it's a large portion of food, even if it's a healthy, nutritious food, low-calorie food, if it's a large portion, it's going to do what? It's going to make them fat. It's going to make them fat. Well, not if it's a healthy food, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And especially if you exercise. Let me finish the slide here, explain them. So we're like, well, what if I don't eat large portions of healthy food? Well, what happens is if you don't increase your healthy portions of food, and people know this, then you will soon get very hungry, which will lead to a jailbreak binge. What happens is, folks, girls in particular will wake up, they'll take a fat burner, which they shouldn't be taking anyway. They'll fasted state, crack of dawn, 5, 6 a.m., hop on the treadmill, Stairmaster, and go for an hour or for 40 minutes. Okay? Then they'll go home and eat 6 egg whites and a grapefruit, or maybe a quarter cup oats. Okay? Then they're starving by 10 a.m., and so they eat like some almonds and a protein shake. Right? And that really doesn't help much. They just feel kind of queasy. Then for lunch, they'll have like a half cup rice and some tuna, and maybe some broccoli. All right. What do you think? And then they'll have like an apple. Then they'll have like some almonds and another protein shake at like 3. This is what so many people's diet looks like when they fill out their eval and they sign up. How do you think that person feels by 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. when they get off work? How do you think? Do they feel satisfied and satiated? I'll tell you how they feel. They feel like a concentration camp victim. They're famished. They're starving to death. They're ready to rip and snort through the nearest bakery. You're like, well, why? They eat 5 meals. Yeah, they eat twigs and berries each meal, and they got up and they burned more calories than a freaking pro football team did before dawn. Okay? So, we'll take out that early morning cardio session. Don't do that. Wake up and eat. You know what? When you eat food, that's going to crank up your metabolism a lot more than hopping on the treadmill. We're going to talk about, I'll explain that in a minute. Okay? But wake up and eat larger portions of whole food all day, and you might be a little bit, and you'll still be a little bit hungry after work. A tiny bit. You'll be satisfied. You won't be starving, but you might even be a little bit hungry. Now watch this. Okay, so watch this. Now, let me read you these examples here. Okay? And then we'll get to the proof. But I want to do, actually, this is the proof, and I'll do the explanation. So I'll flip-flop it here, if that makes sense. I'm going to give you the testimonials first, and the proof explanation will be coming up. So this is Amanda, and she posted this in her journal about a month ago, or 2 months ago. So all in all, and this is the first week. All in all, I'm loving the way I'm feeling. I'm also happy to say that I'm never starving. Yes, I might be hungry by the next time my meal rolls around, but not ravenous like I used to be. She was a twigs and berries eater, a cardio addict. I haven't weighed myself after my first week, but I did take my waist measurement and can happily report that it's already down 1.5 inches after her first week. I wish I had her. Amanda, she probably had 22% body fat, which is not bad. She was a tall girl, like 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", and weighed about 160 something, which isn't bad because she's such a tall girl. And she looked good when she signed up. I mean, she looked good in her before photos, is what I'm trying to say. And she looked even better after that first week. So it's not like she was 34% body fat. That's my whole point. This is a girl that was already exercising. I think she worked in the medical industry, and smart girl, and healthy and into fitness, but was doing things wrong and just wasn't eating enough. And so she'd be starving later in the day and would eat too much junk. Does that make sense? And she was a cardio addict. I mean, she loved to exercise. So we cut her exercise down, gave her more food, and she lost 1.5 inches off her waist the first week. Raise your hand if you think that's possible. Raise your hand if you believe it. It is possible. I'm asking if you believe it. You better believe it. Because if you don't, let me tell you right now, you're in for a long, cold, frustrating winter, my friend. And not only winter, but spring, summer, and fall, and winter again, and wash, rinse, repeat. Get on board, guys. Look at the date. Go to my Facebook page. After the webinar, we'll all go there. And this is the date. And you'll see her name right here. Victoria Hanna, she posted this. I'm going to read it. 1 week down. The first few days were rocky, but I'm definitely getting the hang of it. You are so right. Preparing my food in advance is the key to success for me. And I think it is for most people. There are a few different items on my program that I was nervous about eating, but didn't want to ask you to change them until I at least tried them for a few days. And to my surprise, it's really not that bad for the most part. I enjoy everything. And watch this. I'm never hungry. I noticed a little spike in my energy level 3 days ago. And I expect that to continue to increase. Yesterday, I cleaned out my car, played soccer with my 5-year-old for an hour, then just dance with him for another hour and a half. I couldn't tell you the last time I had energy to do all of that after my normal daily routines. Did she say anything about caffeine or coffee? No. Anything about fat loss pills? No. Anything about shakes? No. Now there's a little bit of, we have a tiny bit of shakes in the program, but it's a very short list, and it's by no means, part of the foundation. Food is the foundation. Let's keep going. I told myself that I wouldn't step on the scale until I was 2 weeks in, especially since I had a few kinks in the first week. However, I just couldn't wait. I have lost 1 inch on my waist and 47 pounds. And that's the first week. Now that's motivation. Bring it on, week number 2. First week. These are people that aren't eating enough, aren't exercising right, or doing too much exercise, and we condense it. We give them the minimum effective dosage of exercise. Just load them down with tons of healthy whole food, and teach them to eat. Food's your friend. Okay? Now for the question we've all been waiting for. How does eating more food actually burn fat? Now, I'm getting a bunch of questions coming in, guys, and I'm going to answer them all, so bear with me here. Let me open this up, and I'm going to answer a couple of questions before I go any further, if that's okay with you guys. So let me go here. Let me get to these questions here. Let's see here. All right, let's see here. Okay, we're good. We'll get the questions at the end. You're doing good, guys. All right, so how does eating more food actually burn more body fat? Well, number one, when you eat food, it revs up your metabolism through digestion. And here's why it does that. This is why my eating, you guys want to know the secret right now? Here's a secret to my eating program. We give you a lot of healthy food. There's more to it than that, but that's the backbone of it. That's the foundation. Well, why? Here's why. Here's why eating more food helps you burn fat, if it's the right food. People have no idea the thermogenic effect of digestion. Thermogenic means heated. It means fat burning. It means rev up. It means metabolic. It means metabolism, just in layman's terms here. Okay? When you rev up, no, you're not going to be dripping in sweat. You won't be out of breath. No. That doesn't mean you're not burning calories. That doesn't mean you're not burning fuel. That doesn't mean your metabolism is running faster. You can sit on the couch I'm not saying do this. You can sit on the couch all day, never move, but eat the right foods and you'll burn fat. How? The thermogenic the thermic effect through digestion. Okay? We want your digestive system to work its ass off. All right, number 2. Well, I just talked about that. People fail to realize the profound thermogenic effect of digestion. Okay, this is big. Nutrient partitioning. What does that mean? Okay, nutrient partitioning basically means that how well the nutrients are utilized from the food. If you eat, what is this a picture of here? It's salmon. Looks like some I'm going to circle it here so you guys can see. It looks like some wild salmon and some salad. Okay, that's what that looks like. And if you eat that, where you eat a, I'm getting, hold up here, guys. If you eat that, or if you eat 300 calories of salmon and fresh salmon and salad, and 300 calories of cake and ice cream, which food that I just mentioned do you think your body is going to partition, break down for usage better for your body? Which food is going to fill up fat cells? And 300 calories each. Let's just pick a random number, 300 calories. So it's equal amounts. And which food is going to stimulate the digestive system? It's going to stimulate fat loss, rev up your metabolism. Well, I'll tell you. It's the healthy food, the salmon and salad in this circumstance, okay? That's nutrient partitioning. So these knuckleheads out there, it's calories in versus calories out. And all these little, I don't want to say anything mean, but all these little, it's usually young kids that say that because they read some scientific literature that says, you know, all that determines weight loss is calories in versus calories out, which is BS. And I prove it every day, and I love it. And my program and my methodology frustrates the quote-unquote gurus and experts like to no end. It frustrates them. It confuses them. It baffles them. It perplexes them. They hate it. They hate it. Imagine, and it's true. I just proved it. I mean, a lot of you guys on here are on the program, and you're doing it yourself. Imagine the bondage, the shackles, what it's like to wear the shackles and bondage of having to eat twigs and berries every day, have hunger pains, have headaches, no energy, starve yourself, and you still can't burn fat. Then imagine eating tons of healthy whole food in the right amounts, designed for you, specifically customized for you, and then having satiety, having high energy levels, sustained blood sugar levels, improved lipid profile levels, greater insulin sensitivity, and better fat loss. Imagine that. It's unbelievable. Here's something people don't realize is that cardio, metabolic drills, it's not that important for fat loss. If you're doing a photo shoot, a contest, yeah, I mean, you go ahead and do it. You're going to need some if you want to get super ripped. Yeah, I mean, that's what we got to do. So, that's true. But the most important thing for cardio and for metabolic work, guys, it promotes coronary blood flow. It's for heart health. These women that go out and and I'm not picking on women, but it's men do too, but they go out and they're in like running clubs and they love jogging and running that just tears their body apart, and they do it day in and day out, and they think that that's going to help them burn fat. No, you're promoting coronary blood flow. You'll have a super healthy heart, but you'll also have saddlebags and a pooch around your belly, and it's never going to go away. Okay? Let's keep moving here. Now, this is big. Man, this is going to really tick some people off. But you know what? I like to polarize people that are wrong. But it's for everybody's good. Okay? Who all here, and let's do a show of hands. Who all here has heard the whole, I'm going to eat clean, let's eat clean? Who's all done the eat clean thing? Yes, no. Okay, Melanie says she has. So eating clean is and I can't stand eating clean. So let me tell you why I hate that. And I'll absolutely, I'll explain to you why I hate that. Here are problems I see with diets of people who claim to eat clean. They don't eat enough. They don't eat enough. And that's why they have severe cravings. Remember what I talked about earlier about healthy food or quote-unquote clean food eaten in small amounts? That's why. It's lower calorie and you have to eat more of it, so they don't eat enough, and they have severe cravings later in the day. Number two, the same thing, basically, number two. Number three is that clean doesn't mean healthy. Now, let's talk about clean some more, because we need to get on the same page with this. What is clean eating? Okay, let's talk about that. Clean, this is an industry term similar to refeed. And I had a webinar a few months ago where actually it was more than a few months ago, but I literally destroyed the whole refeed terminology. Refeed, cheat meal, it's all a bastardized industry term, and it's loosely defined. And here's the problem, is that people come up with their own label for it. Someone on a Facebook page will say something, and who's like a quote-unquote expert, and they might have 80,000 followers, and all of a sudden, all the followers think, oh, that's what clean means, and then they'll read it in a blog somewhere, oh, that's what it means. Well, no, that's not what it means. There is no meaning for clean eating. Now, because it's an industry term, people think it's what the industry tells them, which is basically low calorie, healthy, low fat, da-da-da-da. Well, let me keep going, and I'll explain why it's so bad. Is that an alarming trend I see is that people will mix protein powder with a food and all of a sudden label it as clean. No bigger mistake could be made. You go on any bikini competitor or figure bikini Facebook page, competitors page, or even any woman, even just a girl or woman that's into fitness. And what do you see? Every other day it's like, oh, hey girl, these protein pancakes rule, girl. Try the sugar-free blah, 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 syrup on it too. Hey girl, it's great. Well, guess what? Hey girl, homegirl ain't going to be burning that body fat anytime soon. Well, why not? I'm going to tell you why. And I had this on my last webinar, and I'm going to put it up. I felt it prudent to put it up again. And the same thing I talked about. Find a photo of a meal of a figure bikini competitor or any woman who thinks she's eating healthy for an example of a crummy, clean food. Well, looky what we have here. Believe it or not, but there's people that think this isn't actually a clean. This is a clean food, and this is why clean foods are just garbage. Okay, we have I don't know what's in these. Probably ground up oats, which that's fine. But here's the thing, guys. You have some egg whites, some oats, and it's probably and then they smother and drown these little depleted pancakes that have no calories. There's more calories in the sugar-free syrup from all the sugar alcohols, extracts, flavorings, fillers, Molly McButter, Splendas. I mean, just smothered in this stuff. I guarantee you there's more junk filler calories in all the toppings than there is in the actual, there's probably, I'll say there's 25% as much gross calories in all the fillers and extracts and toppings that there are in the actual food. And these naive, foppish broads, because guys don't do this. Guys make a big pancake, these little bitty tiny pancakes. These foppish broads come in and just smother it with garbage, and they think it's healthy. They think it's a clean food. Ooh, they get a picture posted on a blog. Ooh, well, no. When someone who eats a clean diet shows me what they eat, it always includes some type of protein powder mixed with a food, always yogurt, chicken, nuts, veggies, dairy, and processed refined trash like this right here. Who here now let's pause. Who here has any questions? It does not totally understand why this is bad. And I'm watching this right now, and I will answer the question if need be. Who here has any questions? Who does not thoroughly and totally understand why a clean food is trash? Okay, I don't see anybody's asking a question or asking. Oh, somebody is. Who asked? Let me scroll down here. Who was this? No questions here. Good. Michelle says no questions here. Now, I want to make one more point. Then I'm going to. We're almost done. I'm going to make one more point. Then I'm going to answer some questions here. Let me scroll down. Now, this is Laura. She did a great job. This is a few years ago. She 32, and I'm going to scroll back in a minute if you guys want. She has 3 kids. At the time these photos were taken, That's the key. 3 babies. And so did JJ, the girl at the very start of the webinar showing her abs, who looks awesome. She has 3 babies too. So these are women that have had not 2, not, I mean, these are 3 kids, all, that are still babies that are young. And she had about 23% body fat in this first photo. And she lost about 16 pounds, and it was 7 weeks. She went from 23% body fat down to 12.7. So she made a great transformation. So we'll keep this photo up for a minute while I'm going to answer some questions here. So feel free to type in questions. I'm going to kind of scroll through here. I know a few of you guys have some questions. Let me do this. I'm going to let somebody come on live. Lil Frey, I'll let you come on live, but you need to, or is it Lily? I think her name's Lily. Lily, would you like to come on live here? You have so many questions. I'm going to let you come on live. I'm going to activate your microphone if that's okay with you and let you come on live. Would you like to come on live? Just say yes or raise your hand if you would, or if anybody. Who here would like to come on live on the call? Okay. Okay, Lily says she's too busy eating egg whites and veggies to come on. So she said she's too chicken to come on. So who else would like to come on? Would anybody else like to come on? Raise your hand. Come on! Surely somebody has the bravado to step forward and get on a live mic. Well, let me answer some questions here that I didn't get around to earlier. Because we do have a few people that had unanswered questions. So bear with me here. Thanks for your patience, guys. Let me... Oh, come on, pop up. Let's see. Oh. Lily, what was that question you had? I'm trying to bring it back up. Ask that question you had again, Lily, about that diet you followed. I'm scrolling. Okay, here it is. Lily says, I tried IIFIYM, and it doesn't work. Food choices are important. Okay, IIFIYM, and that's a good point. For those of you that don't know, and I'm going to back up a little bit, that don't know what that means, let me get to this page here, and I'm going to talk about it. And it's an acronym, and basically what it means is if it fits in your macros. What that means is that you total up your and it's wrong. I'm telling you it's wrong, so you don't need to do it yourself. That if you just total up your daily macros, I'm going to eat, I don't know, X number of fats, 120 grams of protein, 89 grams of carbs, whatever they are, that you can get those proteins from wherever you want, whether it's soy, whether it's, a McDonald's hamburger. You can get your carbs from wherever you want, whether it's French fries. You can get your fats from wherever you want, whether it's bacon grease, whether it's beer, whether it's, you name it. It's wherever you want them from, and as long as you fit it in your macros for the day. And young kids like this. Usually young what they're called bodybuilder douches. That's like a slang term used to describe young boys that like bodybuilding and follow the juice heads, and they think they can do stuff like that. And young guys can get away with stuff like that if they have fast metabolisms and maybe take steroids or whatever. But for women especially, and even me included, older folks and over 30 and into their late 30s and so on and so forth, we got to eat healthy, and we got to get it from the right foods. So that's what Lily was referring to. And yeah, so you can't. It's a lot more than just counting your macros or calories. That's a nutrient partition is a very real and powerful thing. So let's see. Any other questions here? I got some more questions here. Let me see if I can bring these other questions up. And anybody's welcome. I think, Melanie, do you have a question? I see your hands raised. Melanie, would you like to come on the mic? Yes. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, someone asked something. Let me pull this up. Let me see this question. Okay, so are you saying whey is bad or just bad mixed with food? I get everything you're saying, and have been following your stuff for a while. Now, who's saying that? Okay, Melanie's saying that. Got it, Melanie. Okay, thanks for the question. Well, now, were you on? I don't think there was someone that asked a similar question last week on the or last 3 weeks ago on the webinar. Whey shouldn't even be on your mind, Melanie. That's the whole point. This whole webinar is about food, and you're asking about whey protein powder. Where is this coming from? And I'm not picking on you, Melanie. I'm glad you asked that, but that question is a glaring example that you have a extraordinarily profound emotional attachment with protein powder and with supplements. You've got to break that. Whey protein isn't the problem, Melanie. It's the food you're eating. You're not eating the right foods. I guarantee you're not eating the right foods. Once you fix your foods, we'll fix the protein. We'll take care of the protein powder. People want to put Melanie, what you asked me, that's like someone that has a 400. That's like someone that has a car whose stereo system costs more than the car. Someone with a $500 car, but like a $1,000 stereo system. Well, let's get a nicer car first. Let's get a nicer car, then we'll worry about a stereo system. Does that make sense, Melanie? Let's see if she responds. So, any more questions here? Okay, well, she's responded. Let's give her a chance. Well, I was wondering because I never use whey. Okay, well, yeah, don't use it. I mean, guys, protein supplements are just that, a supplement. They're a tool that you can plug in if you need to. But most people don't know how to use supplements appropriately or correctly. In fact, I'd say really nobody does. The people that use them the most don't know how to use them correctly because you don't need a whole lot of supplements. You need the correct food sources, partitioned correctly, assigned correctly, distributed correctly, calculated correctly, in the right amounts, the right times of the day. Based on you, based on your somatotype, based on your body type, your age, your preferences, everything. Lily says they're like a lifeboat on your ship. The supplements. I don't know if that's a good analogy or not, Lily. Lily, I think that Lily says if your ship sucks, you can rely on them. No, if your ship sucks, you can't rely on. you can't. Oh, if your ship sinks, I think that's what she said. If your ship sinks, or no, she said sucks. So I don't think that's a good analogy, Lily. No, Lily, and I know who you are, Lily, and you've been poking around my website and following me for the last, probably 4 years now, and I know who you are. I've seen your photos, and I remember who you are. Let me say this to you very clear, Lily. You need a healthy, nutritious, customized program about as bad as anybody, and that's not being judgmental. That's to be kind and helping. You need it severely. I know your past, and I know who you are. And I say that as a kind, helping hand. You need it in the worst way, and your bigger things than your body fat depend on that. Your health depends on that. You do. By the way, how's the weather up there? I won't say where you're from, but I can see it, and I already know who you are. How's the weather up there? She's not responding now. So let's the next question coming in. Melanie asked another question, but was told it helps heal the muscles faster? You're asking me if whey heals muscles faster? And I'm not picking on you, Melanie, but that's absolutely outrageous. Whey protein doesn't heal muscles. You know what heals muscles? Enough food and enough rest. That's I'm not picking on Lily, and I'm not picking on Melanie. I'm not picking on either of them, because I'm glad they're here, and they're doing the best thing they could, and I'm glad they're asking challenging questions because we're clearing this up. And you know what? They're brave enough to ask, and there's a lot of folks that need to be listening in here, okay? And let me answer that. Here's what happens. People read on message boards, and they read on blogs, and they read on Facebook pages that, ooh, if you don't take protein in 3.5 seconds after your last set, then you'll shrivel up, and You'll shrivel up like an Ethiopian. There's people that believe that they'll start losing muscle. That's outrageous. And you know what's so sad? Those same people will go and slurp a protein shake after they lift weights, and they'll go and hop on the treadmill for an hour. You know, that's what burns muscle. Okay? So to answer your question, Melanie, if you eat the right food, when you take the protein shake isn't nearly as important. And honestly, you don't even need a protein shake very often. On my people on board with me, we'll give them a protein shake here and there. Some people have it every day. A few people do. If I think you need it based on, you know, your evaluation. Okay? Let me move this slide ahead, and then I'll get back to it so you guys can check her out. Let me finish asking Melanie's question. But let me finish. Let me get to your question here. Now, Rocco's saying, is it better to double up a meal if you miss one? Secondly, well, let's answer that first. Well, yes, Rocco. Rocco, if you miss a meal, yeah, man, go ahead and double up the next one if you have to. Rocco, are you eating 5 or 6 a day? I don't have your program in front of me now. And Rocco's on his program, by the way, so he's on that. Well, I can look at it later. I think you got 5. I think it's staggered, 5 and 6. Either way, yeah, double up. Yeah, double up. Yeah, mix them up. You can combine a meal. You can combine 2 meals if you got to do it. That's fine. We want you eating the food. All right, secondly, what's the latest you should eat before bed? Rocco, that's Rocco is talking about, and I'm not picking on you, Rocco, because that's a fair question. But why does it matter, Rocco? Why does it matter if you eat 1 minute before bed or an hour before bed? Why does that matter? Why? I mean, well, I know why you think it does. And a lot of people think this. They think if they eat before bed, they'll get fat. You know what I call that? I call that the Cinderella effect. Cinderella, at the stroke of midnight, her stagecoach turned into a pumpkin. The stroke of midnight. Some people think at the stroke of midnight, they'll get fat. That's what it's called, the Cinderella myth. The Cinderella effect, whatever you want to call it. We don't prescribe to the Cinderella myth, folks. Okay? If you eat healthy food, it don't matter when you eat it around the clock. You know what makes you fat? Eating donuts, eating cookies, eating too much of the wrong foods. That's what makes you fat. Okay, let me get some more questions here. All right. Okay, Rocco says 6. Yeah. Well, that looks good. Any more questions coming up? Any more questions coming up? So we had a good night tonight. I think a lot of people had some things they didn't want to believe destroyed. You know, and I get a lot of young girls, and some 20s, 30s women that, you know, we got a few tonight on here that if you saw them in a swimsuit, you would never think they exercised. They spend hours in the gym. They don't have a scrap of muscle to show for it. And they think they know more than me. They think they've got it all figured out. They want to argue with the expert. Then you have people like this lady right here that does what she's coached to do and blows a girl that's younger than her, had a kid that's never had a single baby, and in 7 weeks has done more than she's done in her entire life. And then you back up here to I'm going to take us back to the first slide here. Well, I got you on here, just because I didn't mention her up front, who also had 3 babies and who's, in her 30s. And, made more progress in a few months than a lot of young girls or women in their 20s and 30s that did what she was coached to do, that believed her program, that obeyed her program, that didn't argue about protein shakes all day. There's people, girls, more and guys too, but but mostly women that will. It's an emotional attachment. It's the ads they see, and their hero, or a celebrity hero of theirs, or a fitness babe on a bikini mag or a fitness mag, has a glossy photo hugging a jar of protein powder, and they want to believe in their heart of hearts, in their soul, in the crevices and depths of their cerebral cortex, that jug of protein powder is holds the key to their body, of their dreams. Now, it's never done it, and they'll never get there, but they still hold that hope. They're not giving that hope up, and it's a shame because they're in for a long, cold winter, a long, frustrating 2013. Or you can be like a woman who's had 3 kids and gets ripped in a few months, like her and the other lady at the other webinar. I've just showed you 2 women. I mean, so, you know, that's what we want to take home from this webinar tonight, is that at some point in life, you just got to start. You got to crush and sacrifice long-term beliefs you had. You know what? Everything you read isn't always real, and it took me a long time to figure that out. Just because a magazine says it doesn't mean it's true. You got to understand, folks, I like supplements as much as the other guy, as anybody, you know, but I know how to use them properly in the right amounts, when and how to use them. The entire industry is built around the magazines, the TV shows, Dr. Oz. Everything is focused on selling supplements, selling vitamins. It's a billion. That's a B with a B, a billion with a B, industry. Their goal, if I didn't get people on this call tonight pitching a savage fit, you would have thought I said, your mama's got big toes. You'd have thought I said, your mama's got smelly breath. As flamboyant and as boisterous and as the bravado they're showing right now. You'd have thought I said that, as polarized as they got. It's because it's worked. You've taken the bait, hook, line, and sinker. You believe the lies. You believe the folklore. You believe the fairy tales. That hot bikini babe with the perfect body hugging and caressing that jug of fancy, shiny protein powder is the solution. You believe that's your Messiah. That's who you worship. That's who you bow down, and that's who you worship. And that's who a lot of you folks, and I'm not picking on you folks, I'm glad you guys are on here tonight. That's who you is on point. And people say, well, different things for different people. Well, yeah, no shit, guys. You know what? We've all known people. I've known people. I've known guys and girls. They're not many, but I've known some that can eat McDonald's and ice cream and junk food and still look good. That doesn't mean different things work for different people. McDonald's and greasy fries and pizza and ice cream, that doesn't work optimally for anybody. Capiche? That's like surviving a car wreck unscathed, not a scratch on your body, by not buckling up and saying you don't need to buckle your seatbelt because it worked. Oh, it worked. Not buckling your seatbelt works. No, you just got freaking lucky. That's all it means. So the person that says, well, everybody works differently. Well, but not the way you mean it. That doesn't mean just because someone can eat McDonald's, fries, and ice cream and have a hot body that it works for them. It doesn't work for them. You know what would work better for them? Eating healthy food. Now, what does work different for people is having it customized, having the precision of customization, having artisan craftsmanship tailored and handcrafted just for you. That's when it means everybody's different. I mean, and I'm glad every one of you's on the call because we got there's some sacred cows that need crucifying tonight. It's I mean, there's a lot of folks that just need to, I'm telling you, tonight was a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call. And I'll probably get about 400 views on this recording in the next 2 days. And there's a lot of folks that are going to have to look themselves square in the mirror. And they're going to have to say, how does a woman with 3 kids do more in a few months? And I've given you 2 women, her and then Laura at the end of the show, that did more in 2 or 3 months than I've done in the last 4 years. And they've had 3 kids. I don't even have any kids. And they're going to have to ask themselves that. And there's going to be some soul searching going on tonight. And tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, and the next, and the next. Guys, thanks for being here. I'm glad you're here. I have one favor. I have one request for you folks. Go to my Facebook page and say, post on my wall, and say, tell me what you thought of the webinar. If you liked it, tell me you liked it. If you hated it, say you were a crock. It was crummy. It was no good. Tell me. Say, there's some good stuff here, some good stuff there. Be honest. Let me know. Okay, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for being here. Later.